Hello again from Havana. We are on the still on the trade fair, and I'm very happy to have Simon Chase with me. Well, Simon, you are a well-known cigar expert and have profound knowledge gained during the last decades in cigar business. I'm happy to have you here, and well, yeah, please introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Simon Chase. I joined the cigar trade in 1977, so I've been in four decades. I've been involved in the Havana cigar trade, and I'm a regular visitor to Havana. Obviously, I've been coming here since 1985, and I've achieved a position because I've been doing it for longer than most other people that I know, a little bit more than some, but never as much as many of the people around here.
Okay, very good. Thanks a lot. So. It is well known that you are a smoker of aged cigars. So do you prefer to smoke aged or perhaps fresh cigars?
It depends. I mean, let me give you an example. This is as fresh as a fresh cigar as you can get. It was only launched on Tuesday this week, and it's now Friday, I think. I'm never quite sure when I'm here. This is a cigar I was gifted yesterday, a Bolivar Corona Gigantes, which I was told was 5 years old, and judging by the feel of it, I think that's probably about right. Now, I can get enjoyment out of either of those cigars, but I wouldn't say that's particularly old, but I would say that's matured.
Okay.
I mean, if you're talking old, you're talking 30, 40, 50 years old. Sometimes those cigars are brilliant, sometimes they're rubbish. So there's no such thing as anything can be aged or anything, anything is good because it is aged. It is a question of certain blends of tobacco, certain styles of cigar aged better than others, depending upon the quality of the tobaccos they were made with.
Okay, so how do you see or feel or taste that a cigar has a potential for being well aged?
That's almost impossible. You actually buy a box and wait. But I mean, let me say, from your point of view, the absolutely essential thing is to have the cigars properly kept. I mean, this is the great risk. If you're buying aged cigars, particularly in an auction or something like that, and I'm meaning 10, 15, 20, 40-year-old cigars, the fact that they have been well stored throughout their life is absolutely vital. That is not necessarily at the same temperature, well, the same humidity level that you would expect for a cigar for ready smoking, because aging, you tend to wish to have a lower humidity level, even down as far as 55% relative humidity. Some people say 60%, others say 65, 70, of course, is normal for smoking right now.
Okay.
So it's a complicated matter. Finding cigars that age beautifully takes an awful lot of experience, and I couldn't possibly explain it all in the period of this interview.
Very interesting. Would you recommend a cigar novice to aged cigars or?
No. I think you know. Well, it depends what you mean by age. I mean, the tradition in England is to keep the cigars for a year or so anyway. Before that's after they've travelled the Atlantic and they've settled down, and obviously we keep them in the right conditions. That's when the cigars are smokable, if you will, and that's where I mean, you don't want to pay a premium for a cigar like that. You just want to get the taste, whether the Havana taste is the taste for you. So forget about aging if you're a novice. Get the hang of what the different brands taste like from buying regular cigars from a cigar merchant that you trust, who keeps the cigars well.
Okay. When thinking or when talking about storing cigars, what things to consider?
Well, I mean, the consideration is really controlling the environment in which they're kept. I mean, and of course that reflects how many cigars you've got. I mean, if you're a company like Hunter Frankau, where I've worked for quite a few years, you're looking at 2-3 million cigars, which you need quite a large facility, a little bit larger than that. But you know, the customary way is to have a big room, circulating air, racks, boxes on the shelves, and that's you need to keep this flow of moisture around the moist air around the cigar boxes, and then they will mature happily for a very long time.
Okay. So talking about not that ambitious cigar aficionado who has not his room to store cigars, but perhaps considers buying a tabletop or a small humidor cabinet to store it at home.
Right.
What would you recommend the smoker, the aficionado, should take care of when buying a humidor?
Well, I mean, the first thing is the number of cigars that you want to store. I mean, the box, basically they come in boxes of 25, so you need something for a minimum of 25. But my advice to anybody setting out on buying a humidor is buy one which is at least 4 times larger than you think you need. I don't think I've ever met somebody who enters the world and joins the world of the Habanos smokers and doesn't regret the fact that they didn't buy a humidor big enough to contain all the little bits and pieces that they buy just to test the taste, to see what this year is like, this brand is like, this size is like, and so on. So buy bigger than you think you need. So, but you know, a box that will take 100 cigars is probably as good a starting point as anywhere, and work up from there.
Okay, very good. My last question is, how many cigars and how are you storing at home?
Well, luckily I have at home I have a desktop humidor, and yeah, that's all I have at home at the moment. Yeah, and there are serious limitations on those, the ones that close, because they only actually work. Well, most of them only work because you open the thing regularly. So it's not a good place for long-term storage of cigars. But I have access to Hunter Frankau's knowledge and ability for storing 2 or 3 million cigars, and my few hundred or maybe 1,000 cigars is not going to make much of an impact on them. So I'm not a good case there. But my advice, I mean, that there are cigar merchants, Habanos specialists, Casas del Habano, who have storage facilities for their customers if you buy the cigars from them. And that is actually something which is worth keeping. I mean, yes, I mean, there's an example. I have a keep in the one of the Casas del Habano here in Havana.
Really?
Yes. And there, which is wonderful because I'm not here most of the year, so
yeah.
I can't smoke them. And now I set this keep up, I think it's about 4 years ago now, and the cigars are really improving well at the moment.
Very good.
They're 10 times better than when well, some were brilliant when I bought them, some were frankly disappointing. But my favorite cigar is the Ramon Ayone Specially Selected. I bought a box of 50, which was rolled in 2007, which has a good reputation as a year. But they were very disappointing when I first smoked them, and I was rather sad. But this time, for the first time, they've suddenly perked up, and they're wonderful.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for your time, Simon. I'm happy to have you here, and hope to see you soon again. I guess tomorrow and the gala we'll meet again. So thanks a lot for your time, and have a good day.
Great pleasure, and thank you for sponsoring the equipment in the humidors for the auction, which is my responsibility.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.